The most elite after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen amma ba'd. فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الصلاة والسلام عليك يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا حبيب الله الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. Dear viewers of Madani Channel, we bring another beautiful program for you which is titled as The Most Elite After the Prophets. In this program, we will be discussing the biography, the seerah of the first leader of the Muslims, Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who's known as the companion of the cave, who's known as the unparalleled devotee, who's known as a symbol of devotion, symbol of love for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Before going any further into this discussion, let's first of all listen to a virtue of sending peace and salutations upon the noble Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. The beloved Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has stated that he who sends salutations upon me once, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers 10 mercies upon him. And he who sends salutations upon me 100 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers 100 mercies upon him. And he who sends salutations upon me 100 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes between both his eyes that this person is free from hypocrisy and the fire of hell. And on the day of judgment, he will be kept among martyrs. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. So our topic, Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was the first leader of the Muslims. He was the first leader of the believers. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said regarding his companions that his companions are like stars. Whoever you follow amongst them, you will succeed. And then when we talk about these companions, we come to know that Ashara Mubashara, those 10 companions who were given the glad tidings of paradise by the beloved Prophet ﷺ in this world, they were more superior than rest of the companions. And then Khulafai Rashideen, the 4 rightly guided caliphs, they are more superior amongst the Ashara Mubashara. And amongst the Khulafai Rashideen, the 4 rightly guided caliphs, Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the most superior. So Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is Afdalul Bashar Ba'd al-Anbiya, the most superior after the prophets. Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is best amongst the creations after the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with this association, this program is also called the most elite, the most superior after the prophets. So dear viewers of Madani Channel, although all the companions are our guides, those to be followed like stars, the true, loyal, ardent devotees of the Prophet, but Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the most elite, is the most superior after the prophets amongst the entire creation. Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu holds a lot of merits, a lot of qualities, virtues, some of which are as follows. That he radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the beloved of the beloved of Allah Almighty. He is Atiq, he is Siddiq, he is Sadiq as well as Sadiq Akbar. He radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is an embodiment of patience. And he radiyallahu ta'ala anhu stayed away from idol worshipping even in his youth. When the whole Arab was drowned in idol worshipping, even at that time in the pre-Islamic era, Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu did not perform idol worshipping. He radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was the friend of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam even during the pre-Islamic era. Before the Holy Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam announced his prophethood, even before that, he was his friend as well as during the period of Islam. He radiyallahu ta'ala anhu is the one who testified to the Prophet ﷺ at the time when everyone, every single person denied the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that individual who sacrificed everything of his for the sake of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the first one to embrace Islam amongst men. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the first one to reveal his Islam. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the first one to invite towards Islam, the one who invited people towards Islam, the one who gave invitation towards righteousness, towards Islam. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that first individual. And Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu also holds the merit of being a companion himself. His parents were also companions, his children were also companions, and his grandchildren were all also companions. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also the relative of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's personality was such eminent and was such graceful that people would embrace Islam just by looking at him. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu would detest alcohol immensely. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the protector of the honor and dignity. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu would observe humbleness despite being the caliph, despite being the leader of the believers. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the one who defended the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam against the polytheists. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the one who would free slaves. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the one who attained the title of Muttaqi from the actual king, i.e. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after freeing Sayyidina Bilal Habshi radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu, his eminence, his grandeur, his greatness is not just limited to these elements. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also a very, very acclaimed, illustrious scholar of Quran and Hadith as well. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu acquired knowledge and wisdom directly from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he radiallahu ta'ala anhu was that personality who attained the honor of being the advisor and the minister of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu was the one whose committing of mistake was disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the one whom the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would also agree to. He was the one who would cry in the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was the well-wisher of the grieved ummah. He would inquire after the ill. He would condole the bereaved. He was the companion of the Prophet during migration and his companion in the cave as well. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the one who lifted the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam upon his shoulders on the night of migration. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is such a devotee who did not even care about his life in the cave. He went to the extreme limits, to the extreme extent to ensure the safety of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he presented his own life upon dangers to ensure the safety of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Almighty mentions himself regarding him being the companion of the cave, and Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that fortunate companion who participated with the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all of the ghazwat. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the one who looked after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam throughout his life. He is the one who was made the leader of Hajj by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that personality who was made the Imam by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam during his blessed era. Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that personality who led a Jama'at Salah in the presence of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam made him an Imam to lead Jama'at whilst he was physically present over there. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the first leader of the believers. The entire Ummah has consensus over his caliphate. His caliphate is liked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and by the Muslims. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the one whose attributes and favors have been mentioned by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself in various ahadith. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the one whose virtues, companions and the pious predecessors mention themselves. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the one who has remained the companion of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam throughout his apparent life, and is also his companion inside the blessed shrine. The base of his life, the essence of his life revolved around the concept of the Prophet is everything for Siddiq. These are some of the attributes, dear viewers of Madani Channel, that are associated with Sayyiduna Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhum. There are many more attributes which inshaAllah we will cover in our program, the most elite after the prophets. But this in a nutshell was a brief description of his virtues, merits, which he has been blessed with. And there are many more which of course we haven't covered, but inshaAllah gradually in our further episodes we will cover more of his attributes, and we will try to cover his seerah, his biography from different aspects. Now, dear viewers of Madani Channel, as we're talking about the greatness of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, let's talk about how do we actually judge a person's personality. What are those criteria? What are those criterions that we determine for a person to judge his personality? The actual way of finding about someone's personality or his attributes is through talking about his lineage. A lineage mirrors a person's internal qualities and traits. Even today amongst the Arabs, to know about someone, they would definitely talk about which tribe does that individual belong to the extent that if a book talks about a personality, about an individual, without the details of his lineage, then the value of that book doesn't remain the same to the Arabs, meaning the value of the book diminishes in front of Arabs. If the person being addressed in the book, there's no discussion about his lineage. So we come to know that talking about the lineage of a person also determines how great a person is. So first of all, mentioning the lineage of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu will be very beneficial. When we talk about his lineage, Sayyidina Urwa bin Zubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that the name of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is Abdullah bin Uthman bin Amir bin Amr bin Ka'b bin Sa'd bin Teem bin Murrah bin Ka'b. So this is the lineage of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And when we look in detail at the seerah of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, we come to know that up until Murrah bin Ka'b, there is a gap of 6 generations from Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu to Murrah bin Ka'b. There is a gap of 6 generations, and same is the gap from the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam up until Murrah bin Ka'b. And it is upon Murrah bin Ka'b that the lineage of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu meets the lineage of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So from this perspective as well, we come to know that how great is the lineage of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that 6 generations after his lineage meets that of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. After talking about the lineage, let's talk about his parents. The kunya, the patronymic of his father Uthman, was Abu Quhafa. The name of his blessed mother was Ummul Khair bint Sakhar bin Amir bin Amr bin Ka'b bin Sa'd bin Teem bin Murrah bin Ka'b. And when we talk about his grandparents, the name of the mother of Ummul Khair, Salama, meaning the maternal grandmother of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, was Dalaf, and she is also known as Umima bint Ubaid bin Naqid Khaza'i. And the name of the paternal grandmother of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is Amina bint Abdul Uzza bin Harsan bin Auf bin Ubaid bin Uwaj bin Adi bin Ka'b. So Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's lineage meets the lineage of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam after 6 generations. Now, dear viewers of Madani Channel, another very important factor to cover whilst talking about someone is to see which tribe did he belong to, and what were the attributes and qualities of that particular tribe of his. Now, all the tribes of Makkah were designated to one responsibility or the other. There were different responsibilities assigned to different tribes in Makkah at that time. For example, Banu Abd Manaf was appointed at providing water and other important provisions to the Hajj pilgrims. Banu Abdul Dar was appointed at looking after the war affairs and protecting the Kaaba. Banu Makhzum was appointed at being the commander-in-chief of the army. Similarly, Banu Tamim bin Murrah, that was the tribe of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, was appointed on collecting the blood money and diyas, the diya amount. This tribe was also second to none when it came to bravery, generosity, regarding each other, sympathizing with each other, protecting and supporting the neighboring tribes, standing by their promise, etc., etc. So we come to know that this blessed tribe of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was also second to none in various attributes which become the means of honor and dignity for anyone. So from the aspect of tribe, from the aspect of lineage, from the aspect of parental background, from every aspect we come to know that Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was immensely dignified, he was honored, and his eminence, his grandeur, his dignity was also prominent even in the pre-Islamic era, even before the announcement of the prophethood of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. And these attributes which we came to know, which existed in his lineage, in his tribe, in his parents, they were also transformed into Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. So we come to know that Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu is the most elite after the prophets. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that personality who spent his entire life in serving the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. He radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that personality whose virtues have been mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam, by the blessed companions alayhim wa ridwan, by the pious predecessors. And he radiallahu ta'ala anhu is that individual who's become a symbol of devotion of the beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. He's become the symbol of truthfulness, symbol of piety. From every element and aspect of honor that you want to observe him from, we will find Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu to be our leader, to be our guide, to be someone to follow. Whether it is in devoting oneself for the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether it is from the element, from the aspect of truthfulness, or whether it is from the aspect of generosity, whether possessing the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether from the element of having humility, being humble in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether from the perspective of serving the ummah, whichever aspect or element you want to observe Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu from, you will see him to be our guide, our leader, our mentor, someone to be followed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower His choicest of blessings upon the blessed shrine of Sayyidina Siddiq Akbar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and forgive us all without accountability for his sake. Ameen. Bijahin Nabiyil Ameen sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam.
The most elite after the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar, Siddiq Akbar.